For this video, I want to talk about Uber's new comfort rides. This is a very unique idea and concept. On one end, I think there's some pros to it and some good ideas. On the other end, I'm like, it's a little bit, it seems like a little bit of a cheesy option just to try to get or extract more money out of people taking Ubers, when really this could be just like a normal Uber function. In case you didn't know, the comfort ride essentially has two different options. Number one is there's more legroom, and number two is that there is a do not disturb function. So for example, if you're on the phone or if you just don't feel like talking, you want to sit there and relax, you can select that option and the Uber driver will not disturb you or talk to you. Now it's interesting, kind of before I kind of show you more in-depth stuff about the Uber comfort, I filmed this video, as you can see, I published it on May 23rd, 2019, 5 ideas to improve Uber on Lyft in 2019. And in an interesting perspective, and granted, I guess the do not disturb function isn't like an out of the blue concept. I know that's kind of been brought up here and there, but it's kind of cool because I filmed this video way earlier this year, and maybe they watched this video and happened to use my idea. So here's kind of me mentioning it. You know, obviously, again, this was 5 ideas that I had, and this was number 2. So number 2, a do not disturb function. This would be great, not only for passengers, but especially for drivers. You know, I remember, and I can just kind of stop it there, but obviously I go on to explain why I think the do not disturb function can be beneficial for both passengers, if actually you don't feel like talking, but also drivers, so you don't feel like you have to make conversation. And it's kind of cool that I mentioned that earlier this year, and maybe they watched this video and they're like, hey, the do not disturb function by this Mark Vacero guy isn't a bad idea. Maybe I should go with that, you know, but who knows? But basically, this is how it kind of looks. You know, I got this email from Uber, you know, get 15% off up to $5 off your next ride with Uber Comfort. And the idea, as you can see right here, is get extra space and special features for a pleasant ride, no matter where you're headed. The promotion has already been added to your account, but basically the main thing is enjoy extra legroom, ride in newer mid-sized cars, so you can sit back and relax. And number 2 is request a quiet time with a tap. If you have a call or just want some quiet time or do not disturb, you can let your driver know in the app that you prefer not to chat. Now, I have some mixed feelings about this because when it comes to enjoying the extra legroom, I mean, we've all been there, whether you're a driver or passenger, you know, both Uber and Lyft, where let's say you know, someone gets in the car and let's say they have a lot of stuff with them, or let's say they're extremely tall or whatever. Everyone's done this where you look back and you're like, oh shoot, let me pull up. Or let's say you get in the back seat. A lot of people, it's very typical. If you say, hey, to the driver, like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm very, very tall. Do you mind just scooting up a little bit? And every driver, every single time is like, oh yeah, no problem. I'll just scoot up. So the extra legroom, I don't know. I feel like that, again, like, I think it's a little bit of a cheesy excuse to just charge more money. Because in case you didn't know, the Uber Comfort rides cost more than a regular Uber, right? So, you know, so it's like, do I really want to spend any extra money when I could just ask the driver, hey, do you mind pulling up a little bit? And even still, when it comes to most Ubers that I take, usually, inevitably, the driver's scooted up a little bit to assume that you want to have the extra legroom. It's not like an airplane where, you know, if you think about the difference between an economy seat and like a business or first class, you definitely get a lot of extra legroom, and it's not like you can scoot up your seat or scoot or change your legroom when you're in economy, or any seat for that matter, on an airplane. But in a car, it's very, very common for people to just scoot up or adjust their seating to have the extra legroom. Now, on the other end, when it comes to the quiet time with the tap, you know, whether you want some quiet time, wherever, like, I think that is kind of a cool idea. Like I mentioned, you know, I mentioned that in my 5 ideas to improve Lyft and Uber in 2019, having like a do not disturb function. I think that's a cool idea because obviously, you know, I've been there too, and again, for both passengers and drivers, one end as a passenger, sometimes you just don't feel like talking. You either want to take a nap, you just don't want to talk at all, or like say you're on the phone, you just do not want to be disturbed. And as a driver, it kind of makes it a lot easier because as a driver, a lot of drivers, especially when they first start driving, have this notion where they're like, shoot, if I don't make really good conversation with this person, I'm not going to get 5 stars. And as a driver seeing like, hey, this passenger has requested, please do not disturb me, as a driver, you feel a lot more confident and I think especially comfortable to not talk to them, right? Now, granted, when I used to drive, you just reading body language and just being aware, I could get very quickly the vibes of, does this person really want to talk or not, right? There'd be some times when someone would get in the car and they'd be like, hey, how are you? And they'd jump to their phone and start typing on their phone. And I take that as like, okay, they don't want to talk to me. No big deal. Other times, people are more talkative. So I feel like that while I think that they're trying to, you know, make it more easier, again, both for passengers and drivers, I like that idea. Do I think it's worth spending extra money for the comfort ride? I don't think so. Maybe I'll do a video where I actually take a comfort ride just to kind of see how it goes. But honestly, I think this is a bit of a cheesy idea to charge more money because, one, like I said, the driver can easily just pull up their seat and give you extra legroom, right? That's usually fine. And even they say here, ride in newer mid-sized cars so you can sit back and relax. Really, like any car has a function, no matter how old it is, to move up the front seat. It's not like a mid-sized car. Maybe they have more room, but really, unless you're super, super tall, maybe, and I'm talking like obnoxiously tall, like crazy, crazy tall, I don't think this is a big deal. And then when it comes to the do not disturb, kind of same mentality for me, where it's like, look, there's been times where I get like an Uber and I can tell the driver's talking to me and I'll just say, hey, being honest, I'm super tired. I just might take a nap real quick. And the Uber driver will be like, oh, no big deal. And then boom, they just, it just being polite. So I think that all the benefits of a comfort ride you can easily get for an Uber, which is, again, cheaper because a comfort ride costs more money for some reason. And it's cheaper to do an Uber and just being vocal.